Tesla's most expensive car of all time was their first car when they were the least experienced. Only with experience has their price gone down because they become more efficient and more effective. Your first customers, if you're immediately starting out completely from scratch, should be your most expensive customers.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the High Level Spotlight Sessions, where we showcase awesome marketers doing awesome marketing. Today, I'm joined by Michael Killen. He's the founder of Sell Your Service, which is a sales training program for funnel builders. Michael, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me, mate. I'm excited to be here.
Mike, how long have you been doing? How old is Sell Your Service?
Sell Your Service started in earnest around 2016, just after I exited my agency, which I'm happy to say is still going strong by the guys who took it over.
Nice.
And yeah, like it was crazy because I built up an agency and then left. And a colleague of mine, a guy called Troy Dean from WP Elevation, who's just this amazing powerhouse in the WordPress space. I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. So he said, well, come out and see me and my guys. And they were giving like a mastermind. And the number one thing people were asking is, how could I sell marketing funnels? How could I charge 25 grand for a marketing funnel or for a website? And I was like, that's easy. I did that day in, day out. So I kind of wrote it down on a whiteboard, and then the whiteboard turned into a Facebook group, and then into a few webinars, and then into a course. And now we have a coaching program. We've got books and software and stuff. So it's kind of grown from that initial question of how do I sell something for 25 grand?
I mean, selling funnels, it sort of seems like a no-brainer when you think about it. But then when you look at the industry, it's not the truth of it, right? We all focus on services. Oh, we sell SEO, or we do AdWords, or we do Facebook lead gen. But realistically, businesses need a holistic funnel, right? And so it's sort of just like a mindset shift, I guess. How many people have you worked with over the years that helping them sell the full package?
Oh, thousands, tens of thousands. You know, the funny thing I've noticed is that funnel builders are a very funny breed because they seem to be able to see bigger than the people who just do SEO or the people who just do Facebook ads. They seem to be able to go, even if I'm not an expert in any of these, it's actually the connection points between those individual services that really makes it tick. It's all well and good having an individual engine and four wheels and stuff and the parts of a car, but actually it's the way that those pieces connect that really give a business momentum. The problem though is they get so excited by it that they really struggle to, and we'll probably talk about this a little bit later, one of my little idioms, which is sell futures, not features. They really struggle to convey how powerful and the benefits to the customer, and instead they tend to get wrapped up in a lot of the mechanics and the technicalities and the features of it. So to me, it's a no-brainer. And when people finally get it and they click, they're like, oh my God, this is what we should be doing. And it's been around for so long as well. That's the funny thing about it. So to me, it's a funny one.
So talk to me. Somebody comes into your program. They're like, all right, I like what I'm hearing. I need to sort of make this shift.
Yeah.
Talk to me about niching. Is this the first thing that you help people with is, hey, first you need to sort of focus somewhere?
100%. Yeah. So the first thing we try to convey is you need to stop selling. If anything, even if you do just sell SEO, let's say you do just want to sell SEO and you understand that it is in itself a part of that funnel process. If you have that mindset, or if you want to sell the whole thing, right? That's actually irrelevant, because what we should be doing is pitching to our customers. Who you work with is way more important than what you do. Back in the day, like link farms and stuff, people would say, oh, we specialize in link farming. Now Google penalizes you for doing that kind of stuff. So it was kind of dumb to say I do this service, because at some point it will become irrelevant. Whereas if you choose a specific group of people that you want to work with and that you're passionate about their mission and their goals and who they are, you're way more likely to find some really big ticket and consistent customers, because you're becoming an expert in them and their problems rather than an expert in your craft. the customer, the horrible truth is they actually don't care how they get results. If you built a website for them and it just had a big red button in the middle, and when a customer clicked it, $1,000 was deposited into their account, they wouldn't care. They'd be like, all right, fine. That's how I make money now. I don't care about that. So the method of delivering those results is irrelevant. We kind of have to keep that to ourselves. And what we should become hyper specific and passionate about is the niche or the audience that we go after. So yeah, that's without question the number one thing you need to start with.
I mean, I love this because it just reiterates what we're hammering home with HighLevel and SaaS mode, which is your customers don't care what tools you use.
Yeah.
Right. So why not be the tool? Right. Yep. So, and you can brand the tool HighLevel to your niche. Right. Yep. So if you're going to sell to dentists and you have the dentist money making machine, yeah. It all works out and they don't care what it is. Oh, that makes sense to me. Dentist money making machine. That's what I want to do. Make money. Yeah. Just create an account over there. And now you're getting SaaS revenue in addition to the services. But talk to me about fleshing out the niche. Do you care what niche it is when you work with people? Or are you like, oh, don't do that, there's no money in that niche? Or does it not matter?
There's a few niches that I think people should avoid. And this is going to be a bit controversial, so I apologize to anyone watching. First of all, avoid startups. Startups to me are the worst possible market that you could go after for two reasons. First of all, they don't have any sales. By definition, they're a startup. It's impossible for you to build a marketing funnel that converts and generates massive ROI on a product and an audience which is untested. That to me is an extremely dangerous place to be, because what the startup is essentially doing is they're paying you to discover what their market and offer combination should be. And that is an expensive, it's a long process. It's hard work. Startups constantly say, oh, we haven't got any money. We're trying to work really hard. We want to find someone. We're willing to give you shares. We're willing to give you profit. Fine. If in 5 years, your business is at 7 figures and you can start giving back to people, 100% start working with startups. Then the cold, hard reality is that making a seriously sustainable business from startups is extremely hard work. People tell me that they can do it and that they're doing it right now. Great. If you are, fantastic. But if you want my advice, it would be avoid startups personally. And there are a few other areas that I think people should focus on. To me, I only want to work with businesses who have current products and current customers. That to me is like the number one most important thing, because building the marketing funnel is not about launching a business. It's about continuing to make the business grow. At some point, you can use funnels to launch products and to create new brands and to create new services. Of course you can. That's almost what they're known for. But launching a product, so we have this thing called the customer product matrix, where you have current customers and current products. That's the most profitable quadrant. But all too often, people try to find new audiences or new customers for current products, or new products to current customers, or worst of all, new products to new customers, which is what we call the marketing graveyard. That's where marketing dollars go to die, right? Because it takes so long to generate interest in an audience. That's why startups are given tens of millions of dollars in investment, because the investors know it's going to be 5 to 6 years before you guys even see profitability. Not be profitable, but start to find profitability. So to me, as a funnel builder, I want to go after relatively established businesses, people who have got some kind of asset, some kind of product or service that's selling already. And then we can start thinking, great, how can we automate that? How can we scale it? And there's a bunch of other, all of my YouTube channel has got tons of stuff on avoid this niche, but go after these particular types. So
yeah,
if you're passionate about it, that's a big help. And there's different products. It doesn't have to be an industry as well. I think that's a really common misconception. It doesn't have to be an industry. You could say we work with businesses who we work with authors who want to release an online course. Right? Great. That's a brilliant niche. You could say we work with businesses who currently sell a 5-figure product, but they have no other product lines. Great. What a perfect place to start introducing some lower ticket items. Or, we got guys who say we only work with businesses who have a subscription-based business and we help them increase retention. So there's a lot of areas you can go after. It doesn't have to be a niche.
That's kind of smart. Yeah, and that's a great point. And I've echoed that when people ask me, how do I pick a niche? Should I pick a niche? And I love niching down, but I also do say, look, you can also niche around the model, right? So I think
100%.
claim book, any business that can offer something that you can claim and then the next step is to book, that's like the high level specialty, right? And I also love what you said about current customers, new products to current customers. And it just made me think of simple services like newsletters.
Yeah.
Things that you can automate where you can just sell to people who are already buying are things that are often overlooked and so easy to implement.
We worked with sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Sure. Well, one of my favorite case studies is when I was doing this and I worked with it's called a localization service, kind of like translation, but a few differences. And we went through their database, went through their list, and I was like, pulled up their top 20% of customers and pulled out their bottom 20% of customers. I was like, these guys haven't bought anything in the last 24 months. Why is this? Investigated it. They had done zero marketing. So I was like, well, why don't we take those customers who haven't bought anything, create a very specific funnel and process for them, start sending them emails, letting them know about it. Sure enough, it made sales. I was like, that didn't require any magic. It didn't require Facebook ads or anything special.
No ad spend.
No ad spend. They already had the data, right? They already had the asset. They just weren't doing anything with it. So a huge part of the process, exactly as you state, would be like, what an amazing business model to say, we're an agency that helps you generate revenue from people who haven't bought anything within the last 24 months. Nothing to do with funnels, nothing to do with the tool, nothing to do with marketing. You don't try and be clever and say, we're a lead performance company that specializes in generating explosive brand processes. Like, none of that nonsense. Right. You say to customers, we work with businesses who have got 20, 30, 50, 100 customers who haven't bought anything in 24 months, and we get them to buy. We get dead customers to buy again. Like,
we resurrect customers.
Right? There you go. Yeah. You know, but you know, that to me is the niche. It's solving a specific problem for a specific market that no one else wants to serve. And it just so happens that funnels are a really good way of solving a lot of problems.
Maybe we should take a step back. How would you define a funnel?
Yeah, good. Yeah. I get this question in my own group a lot. So to me, a funnel has got nothing to do with tools or software or anything like that. They've been around for a long time. It is purely the model or framework we have of taking people who don't know that you exist and then turning them into happy, profitable, repeat customers who refer us to their friends. Those are the 5 metrics we try to measure. Are they happy? Well, we can see if they're happy because they don't send us as many complaints. Are they profitable? Are they repeat customers? Sorry, 4 metrics who refer us to their friends. And that process, sometimes if you're selling, $300 million worth of underwater mining machinery, that could be a 5-year process. It's still a funnel.
That's a heck of a niche.
Right. Yeah, there you go. But they're out there, right? There's someone out there. There's multiple businesses out there who do that, right? So yeah. And it's at the top, you have a bunch of people who don't know that you exist. And it just so happens that the shape comes down into this sort of, I do this joke on when I get interviewed sometimes where I'll draw the shape of a funnel and I'm like, I don't really know what to call this shape. I want to call it like an upside down conversion rhomboid or something. And depending on like how well the people know me, they're like, Mike, that's a funnel. And I'm like, I obviously didn't deliver that very well because it's supposed to be a joke. But anyway, you have a bunch of people who don't know who you are. And at the bottom, you have happy, profitable, repeat customers who refer you to their friends. And again, it just so happens that tools like Go HighLevel now are able to take a big part of that journey and systemize it and make it into a process and make it something that's tangible that you can build and create and follow up with people. So it's more of a customer journey than it is a piece of software.
I think that's the magic word, journey. And that's why I was so excited when we first connected, because I knew you had not heard of HighLevel yet. And I was like, this guy, it's going to resonate hard because the funnel, like you said, is a journey, right? People don't just see an ad and say, take my money for the most part. There are steps in between, right? And it's sort of like courting and dating and it leads to marriage. And so I love conversations when I hop on and it's like pre-sales calls. And it's like, is HighLevel right for me? I'm like, well, what do you do? I run Facebook ads. And then when you generate a lead, what do you do with it? I send it in a spreadsheet to my customers. And I go, yeah, HighLevel's for you. Because
Yeah.
once you build a funnel, you're going to see the numbers go through the roof. So if you're having
Yeah.
success now, oh boy, am I excited for what's going to come in your near future. But yeah, I think it was important that we reiterate what it is we're talking about when we're talking about a funnel.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not tools or, yeah, like you said, go ahead.
My business manager calls it our customer journey. That's what she calls ours. You know, I know it as a funnel because I did marketing at uni, so that's the shape I was taught. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, customer journey, conversion process. How do you turn someone who doesn't know that you exist into someone who wants to continue buying from you? And it just so happens now that websites and email and adverts are a part of that. But back in the day, it was a book like Napoleon Hill's first book, Think and Grow Rich, or his second book, Think and Grow Rich. The back of that was a sales letter for his home study course. Like he understood the way to attract leads and get them to pay for themselves was to sell them the book. The book gives them a ton of good ideas. And then by the end of the book, they go, I wonder if he can help me further. And he goes, by the way, if you're serious about changing your mindset, we have this home study course. We're going to sell you that. And at the end of the home study course, there's a further product to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So people were doing it 200 years ago. It just so happens that websites and Facebook ads are a very good way of doing that now. And books, frankly, books are still a very good way of doing it as well.
That's a great point. So let's jump into your saying, which I love, sell futures, not features.
Yeah.
And I think when you create a funnel and you've built this journey, it's so much different than selling features, right? And nobody gets excited about a feature, but that's what we all default to. It's like, oh yeah, we build out 3 campaigns, 2 retargeting campaigns, X amount of landing pages, and it's got forms on them and surveys and and it's like, I could care less. I just want more customers, right?
Yeah. Well, so what you've said there is I want more customers. What we try to do is we try to go a bit deeper than that. So we try to say, well, why do you want more customers? And most people will go, well, that's a dumb question. Don't all businesses want more customers? One, not necessarily. Some businesses actually want to, not like a hotel doesn't necessarily want more customers because there's a maximum occupancy rate. So you then bury a little deeper and they go, one business might say, I want more customers because we need to increase the number of physical locations that we can be a part of, right? So they want more customers to expand and scale the business. And then someone else says, I want more customers because in 2 years, I'm looking to sell it. And now is the point where we need to have that inflection point to show that we've grown, we can grow, and the business is continuing to grow. So there you have 2 completely different futures that 2 different people want. Your job is to then go, I'm actually really good at growing businesses to the point where people can then sell them. So the future that you would sell is I work with businesses who are the founder is looking to exit within 2 years, 2 years time. And that's maybe you get even more specialist than that. You say, I work with businesses that specialize in recurring revenue and the owner is looking to exit within 2 years. That's the future. Again, it just so happens that marketing funnels and building out using these kind of tools and processes and systems are a fantastic way of getting to that future. They are the methodology. They're not the goal. No one ever says, I'm really looking forward at waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, being freezing cold, grabbing some cold steel, being in a room that smells like feet and drinking a gritty, powdery shake at the end of it. That's the method. But you are saying, I want to look killer for summer. I want to lose a bunch of weight from sitting down and eating crisps all day on the couch because of COVID. That's the future that you want to sell, not the methodology. The methodology is just so happens to be the way that you get there. And another thing I like about funnels and the thing about Go HighLevel, it actually enables you to do different methodologies. Some people could say, I'm just going to do that with email marketing. We're going to be so sick at email marketing, it's unreal. And other people are going to say, we're going to do with the pages and the redirects and the upsells. So there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat to even get to that future, but you're selling the future, not the feature. And I think as an industry, we need to get much better at saying, what is the big dream and the goal that your customer has that you want to believe in, that you're saying, look, if you want to scale your business and go from 5 locations to 7, you should work with us because that's what we specialize in. That's way more appealing than, we build customer redirect forms that allow you to remarket to customers who don't buy. I'm like, I don't care about that, and I do this for a living, you know?
Absolutely. There's a metaphor that Mike Arcee, one of the very first spotlights I did, said that stuck with me this whole time, which is when you're booking a vacation or you're booking plane tickets, none of the airlines sell you about like the features of the seats and like how efficient their lines are and like the kind of peanuts you're going to get. It's like, no, they sell you on the destination. Imagine your feet in the sand. You know what I mean? And I think that's exactly what you're saying. And so, and your response to me just made me again think that I still don't think it through enough when it's like more customers, of course, but why do you want more customers? Honestly, I'd love to be able to golf twice a week, like during business hours.
100%.
Boom. Now
100%.
you're like, okay, every decision we make is going to work towards getting you on the golf course at least twice a week. And now maybe your website says like, we help CEOs golf at least twice a week. That's pretty differentiating in a market.
Yeah. And that falls into what my definition of a niche is, which is solving a particular problem or getting a particular result for a specific group of people that no one else wants to serve. You could say, I specialize in getting CEOs to basically golf twice a week, you know, and not having to work 60 hours plus or whatever. I don't care about that. I don't really care about golf. I don't really care about CEOs doing it. But what a huge advantage to you as the agency owner who does want to do that, because you've just eliminated all the competition. All of a sudden, I don't want to serve the same market that you are. I actually will go out of my way to say the opposite. What a powerful statement, as opposed to saying, oh, we build marketing funnels. All right, well, why are you different from that other company? Oh, well, they're a lead generation performance company and we're a performance lead generation company. Like, there's no differentiation there, you know?
Exactly.
So yeah, 100%. Yeah, focus on the person who's buying.
If you personally like golf, how far you could go with branding, you know what I mean? I think, you know, someone should take that and run with it. But I think that illustrates the point, right? It's what is the underlying goal, not just customers and money. And everybody has one, right? Whether it's family, vacations, this or that. Pretty interesting. So once you get in this mindset, the last thing I want to talk to you about is pricing. So hard for people, especially early agency entrepreneurs, to get this right out of the gate, right? I mean, this is a trial and error, years upon years of fine tuning your pricing. How do you help people get there quicker?
So I'll tell you now, you should charge 25 grand for your services. There we go. That's the years of experience and everything. When people say, how much should I charge? And I immediately go, 25 grand. Next. Immediately they go, oh, there's a few reasons why I can't charge that. And we undercover, kind of dig down a little bit like earlier with the futures, we dig down. And what they're actually asking is, what is the maximum amount of money that I could say I'm worth in order to not cause offense or ridicule? That's actually what people are asking for. And people have these crazy notions about experience. Tesla's most expensive car of all time was their first car when they were the least experienced. Only with experience has their price gone down because they become more efficient and more effective. Your first customers, if you're immediately starting out completely from scratch, should be your most expensive customers. If a customer gives you 25K, I'll guarantee you'll work harder with that customer than anyone else. I promise you that they will get their money's worth. I'll guarantee it. And the reason that I think it should be 25 grand for a few fold. First of all, most people want to try and get over that 100K revenue mark. Sell 4 funnels then. Sell 4 projects for 25 grand. If you immediately move away from trying to say, I'm a funnel builder, we're a marketing specialization company, into, which I love, Chase, I help CEOs golf twice a week. Like, what CEO wouldn't want to pay 25 grand to be able to play golf twice a week for the rest of their life? That's 100 rounds of golf in a year. To be able to say to someone, I'm going to help you play 100 rounds of golf this year. What year? You go, great. Okay. It's just going to cost you 25 grand. Immediately you're flipping it rather than seeing it as an expense.
Here's my Amex.
Right. Yeah. Like they 100% will, right? If you can dig a little deeper. 25K though, the reality is that's not a huge amount of money. That's not particularly profitable. Once you start growing a business and scaling and hiring a few people, you'll find that 25K, actually, you get through that pretty quickly. right? That's not the be all and end all. You need to start looking at then like care plans and ongoing maintenance plans, and then products on your front end as well. But the pricing kind of myth is all wrapped up in like, well, I use a tool to do the majority of it. Yeah, good. All right. That's a pretty smart idea, isn't it? Again, go back to the car market. When Ford was building the first kind of affordable car, he didn't say, let's make less tools and have more human labor. The opposite. He went, all these cars are crazy expensive to buy. So I'm going to make a system of standardizing the process at which people buy them. And that is what I was able to make my business more efficient. If you're worried about things like experience, I got news for you. At some point, if you sell something for $1,000 or $500, someone is still going to say you're too expensive. Like when I launched last year, 5-Figure Funnels, which is like our latest book on this exact topic, the Kindle was for $1. In fact, I think we've just put it back to $1, but I still get people being like, have you got any like cheaper ones? I'm like, physically, no, I can't. That's like the cheapest I could make it on Amazon. So you're always going to be too expensive for someone. You're always going to be too expensive for someone. So you might as well be too expensive and profitable. Like, I don't see the problem. And there's a few exercises and stuff. And like I said, sorry, I'm super, super passionate about this topic because I think it's a huge...
I love it. I think it's very eye-opening. And I think you made a couple of really solid points. And I think it goes back to, again, that mindset shift away from features to the holistic journey. Yeah. Because when you give someone a funnel, that's an asset, right? You build somebody a journey, a customer journey. It's an asset that they can use forever.
Yep.
And it's just about getting people into the journey, right? That's all ads are, is a way to get people into the top of the funnel to start the journey. And so when you're just charging to generate ads, I hate lead gen only agency model because everybody's looking for more leads at a lower price, which means anyone who shows up saying, I can do it better for less, they'll leave you in a second and hire that one until they realize that that person was full of crap. And now they go look for the next one.
Yep.
But the person who delivers the journey, the asset, the thing that they can use no matter who's generating the leads, isn't that worth $25,000?
Yeah. Or more. Like, one of the big programs I went on a couple of years ago, it cost me 10 grand and it was for like a 10-month program or whatever. The sales pitch was basically, we're going to position you as a key person of influence within your market. I was like, I want that. I want to be the sales guy for funnels builders more than anything, right? Even if it's a tiny hyper-specific market, I don't care. That's where I want to position myself as. So to me, 10 grand was a relatively small price to pay to have that. If you say to another guy, like you say, golf twice a week, one of our colleagues, Kate, is outstanding. Her market was, I'm going to help mums who own a business finish work by 3 p.m. so they can pick the kids up and eliminate mum guilt. Now, it just so happens dads obviously feel that as well, but it turns out she's a mum. So it's a really, like you say, you play golf, you work with golfers, simple, right? So there's a really nice synergy there. People will pay to eliminate mum guilt, 100%. We have to bury really deep into like, what's the status that they want? What's the and it sounds weird, and maybe this is part of the problem, but we have to really look at the moral internal struggle that someone is wrestling with every single day. Everyone feels guilty about something or inadequate about something and inferior about something. If you can help show them a path to be able to eliminate that internal moral struggle, that's worth 25, 100, 200, 300 grand, $1 million. Doesn't matter. Tony Robbins doesn't sell $4,000 one-day conference tickets by saying exactly as you stated, look, we've got some great chairs. You guys are going to love the coffee. We've got these really nice tables where we lay everything out. No, he says, I'm going to show you how to take your past life and all those experiences and completely eliminate them to become the person that you want to be. Is that worth $4 grand to you? And to people, it is. Of course it is. So the same methodology needs to be applied to selling these marketing services because they make lives better. They make lives different. When you explain to someone, oh, we can help take your books from one sale a week to 30 a day, that's revolutionary to them. And I completely agree with you about lead generation. Like, most businesses don't have a problem with leads at all. Actually, they're doing really well with leads. Their problem is they don't do anything with them afterwards. They don't follow up to them. They don't market to them. They don't market to their current customers. They don't sell their current customers new products. They don't continue to work with new customers or find out what those customers want. They've already got a bunch of leads probably that they're not doing anything to market with. So to me, which is where our specialty was actually working with current customers and not worrying about lead generation, because we were like, you don't have a problem with leads. Most businesses don't have a problem with leads. They have a problem with conversion and follow-up. So there's a huge amount there that is worth 25 grand. And I can assure you that if you work with a business that has a $2,500 product, like, I don't know, whatever it might be, like a PC manufacturing business or something, and they sell $2,000 products, finding 10 customers to buy 10 PCs instantly pays off your 25 grand. Like, ROI problem solved. All right. So start working with better customers.
100%. I mean, leads are cheaper than ever, right? And you're kidding yourself if you don't think that Facebook and Google want to make it so stupid simple to run an ad that they don't need an agency. You're kidding yourself, because that's where it's all going. I mean, so really the money is in the funnel. You're right. And I think when we say funnel, and I'll leave this to, you should head over to sellourservice.co.uk to work with Michael on this, but funnels are intricate, right? It's not, I still think when we say funnel, people are thinking like, oh, ad, landing page, conversion. And a journey is so much more than that. And it has offshoots and it has different paths. And some people are going to go this way and some people are going to go that way. And some people love videos and some people love to read things and some people love to listen to things. These are all things to consider when creating a journey, right? And I'm sure this is what you cover in your course, but the end result, like you're saying, and again, to keep going back to the golf model, I absolutely love it, because it's like, did you golf this week? Yeah, it was freaking great. I shot like an 82. That guy is going, you were his hero forever, right? Like, it's so much more than the $25,000 exchange that you had. But I do want to flesh out a little bit more. I still think a lot of people just heard what we said, agreed with it, and they're like, but the idea of me saying, write me a $25,000 check is just, I can't even fathom it. Are we talking about like, hey, give me 25 grand right now? Or do you teach people to break it up into pieces of the project? Like, tell me, flesh it out a little bit more, because I feel like we kind of just made it a little too.
Sorry, that was me.
Picture perfect.
On my soapbox. All right. So without wanting to like pitch too heavily, the book 5-Figure Funnels does have there's an entire chapter dedicated to writing out and justifying a 25K price tag. They're two slightly different things, being able to justify and being able to deliver on it. But at a very high level, here's what we do. So first of all, write down $25,000 on a piece of paper and bullet point every single thing that you would give to someone. If I gave you 25 grand, email me and I'll give you 25 grand, right? And you can't refund it, you can't return it, you can't do anything clever with it. Write out, bullet point, what would you give people? What would you do? And you'd go, oh, I don't know, 2 different squeeze pages. I'd probably write some of their copy and then start thinking outside the box. All right, what about 6 weeks worth of coaching where you're going to talk them through this new business model? What about investing a bit of time in your own Facebook ads to test their market and test their interests? Just bullet point it out. What would you deliver?
Internal sales training sessions, right? Work with their team, stuff like that.
All of that, right? Would you go out and buy the top 5 books in their industry and give them to them, right? There's so many different things that you could be doing as the funnel builder for that 25K. A next part of the process is go back over that and work out what it would cost you to deliver it. And immediately you'll start removing things, because everyone goes, 25 grand, I could do all this stuff. And then you're like, actually, I probably couldn't do the 6-week break in Aruba with them.
It's like you got to take your margin right off the top, right? I mean, first start there.
Exactly. Well, literally, yes, we do. We actually teach like 5% profit. We teach the Mike McAllowitz profit first model to like split out what things should cost you. And roughly 25 grand is going to give you around $7,500, $8,000 to play with. It's costs times 3, right? It's a nice simple model. So what you actually have is around 8 grand to give to someone. So immediately you can go, I could just give $8,000 to someone and they'll build it for me. They'll do all of this stuff for me. So there's a little bit of backwards and forwards. It's about opening up partnerships. It's about working out, who would deliver to me and what. That's the first thing. There's a little bit more depth to it, but that's a big part of it. The second part then is understanding your pricing model and the close that you're going to give the customer. Ultimately, you want to know if someone's got the budget way before you even mention price. Like when you're qualifying a customer, you're speaking to these guys who are playing golf or want to play more golf. You say, great, you're working on your business. What's the biggest problem? We always seem to spend more time trying to close deals. And, I hate trying to make all these sales. It could be automated. All right, fantastic. What kind of budget have you got for a project like this? And they go, maybe $3,000. They're never going to turn. If someone's got 10 grand, 15 grand, you can push them. If someone's got 20 grand, they've got 25 grand. I like to price my funnels when I actually deliver the proposal, like a really specific random number, like $24,382.59, because it makes it look like I put way more thought into it. And we found
right.
that people kind of argue less with the price and they go, well, he's gone right up to the budget, but clearly he's doing something specific there. But anyway, the next part is we tend to take roughly a 50% deposit. Sometimes we'll take 10 grand as the deposit. So actually what we're actually looking for is 10 grand from the customer. I don't go for any of the we'll pay on results or do you do result-based delivery? I don't do any of that. You either work with us or you don't, right? I think that those other types of models work and some people make them work. I think it's way too complex. And until you've understood how to close someone on a 25K deal, it's ludicrous to start trying to like flex with those numbers a little bit. And when someone says to you, $25,000, that's crazy. There's no way we're paying that. Big smile, you nod and you agree with them because 25 grand is a lot of money. And you go, yep, yeah, it's a lot of money. Sign here and we can get started today. Oh, okay. Yeah, here we go. I can take payment via my phone. If you want to pass that over via your credit card, okay, great. That's not them saying no. 25 grand is a lot of money. It's a crazy amount of money. It's insane that we're, as a species, able to create just $25,000 worth of value from thin air, but we can. So when someone goes, that's insane. I've never paid that much money in my entire life. Yeah, you probably haven't. Sign here and we can get started today. Just agree with them. They just need to vent. They just need to be heard. My stepdad was really, really good at this. He would be like, 15 grand, I'm not paying 15 grand for the extension or conservatory or whatever. That's crazy money. And the guys who knew what they were doing would go, yeah, it's a lot of money. I bet your wife is riding you really hard about this. We can book you in for next Wednesday. We just require a 5% deposit. And he would go, oh yeah, fine. They're not saying no. They're just venting. They have to give some kind of semblance of control. So when they laugh at you or get angry, that's actually the first sign of acceptance. Like that's the sign of them going, yeah. So, and if they say no, ask them why, and then turn that objection anyway. So that's a big part of the sales training that we do. Like I said, most people don't have a problem with leads. They have a problem with sales, closing, and training. So that's a big segment that we work with.
Nice. Well, I've already kept you for way longer than I planned to, but
no, I'm
this
sorry,
has been
it's
great.
me. I can't help myself. I apologize.
No, this has been absolutely great, Mike. Tell me the book. Where can people get that?
Yeah, so you can get it on Amazon. You can actually just get it in regular bookstores, like if you give them the ISBN number, but bookstores aren't open. So you can get it on Amazon. It's called 5-Figure Funnels. And a bunch of other books are there as well. I believe at the moment it's like the #1 business consulting book on Amazon. So you might find it that way. But
wow, congrats.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I tell you, if you want to learn about niching down, understand how Amazon categories work, and then you can get #1 in anything. Yeah. Or if you head to youtube.com/sell your service, that's my YouTube channel, and there's all the links back to like the site, and the site, as you mentioned earlier, was sellyourservice.co.uk.
Awesome. This has been a great chat, Mike. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you. And I like these types of questions. I like, it's nice to get into this kind of depth with people. So I appreciate the call.
I think we're really going to light some light bulbs with this one.
Hope so.
And you've got me. I mean, we're going to have to bring you back at some point, because I think this you've got my mind whirling about a whole bunch
You're
of
going to come
things.
back with 50 niches of the people that you want to target and dominate. That'll be what you do.
I think I might just sell niches with the pitch. You know what I mean? Like, man, because that was a good one we came up with. I'm going to use
No,
that
I
one
like
for
it.
a long
I like
time.
it. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you on the next one.